the Thursday, April 9th, 2020, 12:30 p.m. special meeting of the Bell Gardens City Council. The meeting will now come to order. Pursuant to Executive Order N-2920, please be advised that members of the Bell Gardens City Council will participate in today's meeting telephonically. Council members and staff are participating from remote locations. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted on the agenda. Today's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by our Chief of Police. Sorry.
Place the flag, right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, will you please call roll of the City Council?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Council members Acetuno? Present. Barcena? Present. Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Present.
And Mayor Cortez?
Present. Okay, we will now move to the first item of the agenda. Public participation is now open. City Clerk, will you please announce the public participation information?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Due to the recent changes, members of the public were asked to submit comments electronically for consideration by the City Council by sending them to cityclerkdesk@bellgardens.org no later than 1 hour prior to the meeting. These comments, as well as any comments received after the meeting, will be distributed to the members of the City Council and will be made part of the official public record of the meeting. Those wanting to submit their comments telephonically during the City Council meeting were asked to call no later than 1 hour prior to the meeting so that they can be called during the meeting. We have, I believe it's one speaker that I will be calling, and we have, I think it was nine emails that you will be reading. The members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on the items listed on the special meeting agenda. If you are watching live, please mute your audio as you state your comments. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments to the mayor and council members. Each speaker and email reading is limited to 3 minutes, subject to an overall 30-minute time limit period. Email comments will be read out loud after all speakers have been heard. And we do have one public speaker that needs to be called.
Okay. Should we move forward with the written, or do you want to call the person
I'll call
first?
this.
You'll call the person first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move with that. And then before we do move on with also the written comment, we just want to remind everyone that this is a special meeting. And as such, we can only discuss the item that is on the agenda, which would be the commercial eviction moratorium. Any other topic I will not be able to read out loud, but we will disseminate with council so that they are aware of the comments that you submitted.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Jane Halstead, City Clerk for the City of Bell Gardens. You submitted your, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, are you Sandra Garcia?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name and then I'll start the recorder. You can state your comments, please.
Okay. My name is Sandra Garcia and I'm a resident at Bell Gardens.
Okay.
I'm calling to urge the City Council to stand with all Southeast LA cities and immediately declare a state of emergency. COVID-19 pandemic will continue to impact our communities long after this crisis is over. We demand Sal's local government to provide rent mortgage forgiveness, access to the health resource to help our families, and to stop collaborating with ICE. They took my sister-in-law, Olga Garcia, April 7th, 2020, 8 a.m. from Starbucks in Bell Gardens, and she is a resident and has a green card not expired. It's not fair for anyone that all our families are stressing over virus, rent, food, our children, no work, where to live. If this continues, and to top it off for ICE to separate loved ones, it's not fair. everybody's already has a lot of concern. And I hope councils and everybody supports our residents and our community. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you.
Are they able to hear the? Yes, because I'm merging the call. Okay. You guys were able to hear that? Somewhat? Okay. Okay, the next public comment is from Laura Cortez. And again, I just want to remind everyone that I can only read the portions that are related to the commercial eviction moratorium, and then the rest we will forward to council so that they're private of your comments. The city council must take action on the serious housing consequences highlighted by COVID-19 instead of just reacting and following the lead of other cities, which seems to be the case of Bell Gardens. Being a leader for the city means adopting a resolution for rent and mortgage forgiveness and writing to our county rep, Hilda Solis, and Governor Newsom demanding rent and mortgage forgiveness now. An eviction moratorium should not include invasive proof of health or income by a tenant. Anything less than that is useless to our city. The next comment is by Jessica Prieto. On behalf of East Yards Community for Environmental Justice and our members, we submit these comments to the Bell Gardens Special City Council meeting for consideration. East Yards is a community-based organization that was founded and established by residents in the City of Commerce in 2001. Our members are residents who are active on issues of environmental health and justice, land use, and community stability. We have membership all throughout the Southeast Los Angeles region, especially in the City of Bell Gardens. As members and stakeholders who reside, work, or visit Bell Gardens, we express concerns with the agenda items as they are proposed and wish to have below topics and points examined and implemented immediately by the council. If there's any questions or comments, please contact Jessica Prieto. The City Council must take action on serious community stability consequences highlighted by the COVID instead of just reacting and following the lead of other cities, which seems to be the case for Bell Gardens. The majority of Bell Gardens residents rent, and a large percentage of them spend over 30% of their income on rent alone. So the rest goes into residential rent. Council members, my name is Jasmine Gonzalez, and I am the resident of the City of Commerce. I urge you to stand with all Southeast LA and forgive rent and mortgage. This comment is from Hugo Lujan, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Bell Gardens City Council, we are united residents of Southeast LA, the adult community components of Communities for a Better Environment. Ursula is comprised of concerned residents of Southeast Los Angeles cities and unincorporated Los Angeles County. Ursula works on various environmental justice issues impacting our communities, ranging from environmentally racist projects and policies with the goal of improving quality of life, health policy on local, regional, statewide level. That chair's like... How can I mute him? I don't know, can you hear him? Rick, can you mute your microphone?
When he types.
What's that?
Can you mute your microphone when you type?
Oh, I'm not typing.
Oh, before that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let me just try to.
Nice hat.
Oh, hey, thanks.
The comment continues. Many of the Southeast cities are made up of a majority of renter households, with cities like Cudahy and Bell Gardens having membership rates of 85 and 78 respectively. In addition, each of these cities are heavily burdened, with the majority of its renters spending over 30%. So the rest goes into a conversation about ICE and also about just residential. Would like to address, this one is from Jashin Liberto. Would like to address these points at today's public comment via email and today's special meeting. Rent and mortgage forgiveness, ICE, and free access to quality healthcare, food supplies, regardless of citizenship status. So that's not on the agenda. This message is by Juan Marin. I live and have a small business in Bell Gardens. I completely support the emergency ordinance for eviction moratorium for commercial businesses, but through May 31st is not enough. As a small business owner, I will not be able to financially recover my 2 BG businesses by May 31st, even if COVID ended at the end of this month, which we know is not going to happen. I lost all sources of income and I am worried about the future of my business. This ordinance should go into effect until 12 months after the state of emergency is declared over. I urge council to unanimously approve this ordinance. Otherwise, I will lose my work and home. Dilia Ortega. To whom it may concern, youth environmental justice is the youth component of the Communities for a Better Environment. Youth EJ has been organizing for long-term well-being of the Southeast LA cities for the last 23 years. It is imperative that the city pass an eviction moratorium for commercial businesses. Moreover, it is important for the city to go beyond the minimum and pass a rent and mortgage freeze on both residential and commercial tenants to address the long-term impacts of the current COVID-19 crisis. In addition to consistent fears regarding one's health, people are facing sustained loss of income that will affect them beyond the time this crisis is declared over. It is crucial for the well-being of our economy that the small businesses are given resources to be able to recover in the future. And the rest goes into ICE. This message is by Michelle Ceballos. Today we urge the Bell Gardens City Council to pass the urgency ordinance establishing an eviction moratorium for commercial businesses. We applaud your efforts and ask the City Council members also to establish a stronger eviction moratorium and rent mortgage forgiveness for the overwhelming number of renters and small number of homeowners in Bell Gardens. By protecting Bell Gardens residents, the City Council should be strengthening the community at a time when COVID-19 is severely impacting communities across the state. The rest goes into healthcare and ICE. And the last one is by Ayan. Hi, my name is Ayan from Compton, urging the City Council with all Southeast LA cities and declare a state of emergency immediately. The Bell Gardens City Council must provide rent and mortgage forgiveness, access to health resources, and then it also goes into ICE. And that is the last of the public comment. Do we have any more callers?
No, that's it, Mayor.
Okay. Okay, City Manager, will you please announce the discussion item number 1?
Thank you, Mayor Cortez. This item is an urgency ordinance establishing an eviction moratorium for commercial businesses. It would really be for the council to consider and approve this ordinance. It provides coverage to affected commercial tenancies and establishes a back rent repayment period. Over the last 48 hours, we realized that some questions had come up regarding late fees or penalties for the rents that would normally be covered under this moratorium period. And so it's staff recommendation that the council approve the ordinance as written, but with the additional recommendation that it include language for the prohibition of penalties or late fees for rent that is due during the moratorium period. It's not explicitly stated, so we're recommending that that be approved by the council. I also want to pass on this morning, the community development director and I spoke with the probably the largest landlord in the city, and while the landlord, Prime Store specifically, understands all of the economic challenges going on currently, and they are not evicting people right now. They're working with their tenants, but they did want to express that having a third party, in this case a government agency, can muddle the process to some degree, and so from that perspective, they wouldn't be supportive. And there are examples where there are very detailed contracts with this property owner and some of their anchor tenants that talk about co-tenant requirements and things like that. And so it can muddy the water. And so I just wanted to make that statement.
Thank you, Mike. At this point, council, you have the floor. Maybe you could raise your hand and then we'll just take it one by one if anybody has any comments. No questions, comments, concerns with the moratorium? Okay. I just do want to mention for the benefit of the public that this ordinance will be revised on a month-to-month basis. At least that's the plan as of now. It doesn't mean that it's definitely going to end at the end of whatever period is specified already, which is May 31st. At that point, we will bring it back to council, and we just want to monitor the situation as we advance with this COVID-19 situation and not just make a decision long-term because we don't know how the situation is going to move. Maybe we need to strengthen or weaken, or we need to make changes to this moratorium. So as of now, I think it'd be prudent to just do it on a month-to-month basis and then just evaluate as we go. So,
and Mayor, this is Rick. Just a couple of things.
Yes.
Before the council votes. This is an urgency ordinance, and as such, it will require 4 votes of the city council to pass. The other thing I wanted to note is this is an urgency ordinance, and it will expire after 45 days. The city council can opt to extend it for an additional 10 months and 15 days if they'd like to. That's typically how these urgency ordinances work. However, if at some point the city council would like to repeal it before the 45 days is over, we can always do so by way of another urgency ordinance. So you have a lot of options here, but I thought it was important to give you sort of what the timelines are for this type of urgency ordinance. Thanks.
So Rick, you mentioned it's going to expire after 45 days from the day we passed, correct?
Correct.
And then at that point, let's say we wanted to extend, we would just have to meet before those 45 days to be able to extend?
Well, what you can do within the next 45 days is you can decide to do another ordinance. Doesn't necessarily have to be an urgency ordinance. You could do another.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You could do another ordinance which, extends it until a date certain. You have a lot of different options, but this particular one will end after 45 days if you take no further action.
Got it. Okay. And then council, the other point, I'm not sure if you heard Mike when staff recommended the fees. Mike, can you repeat that portion?
Sure. So the recommendation, again, this is an issue that was brought up after this language was written, and it was intended to be implied, but it would be better if it's explicit to just include language for the prohibition of penalties or late fees for rent that is due during the moratorium period. So while you've got your 90 days to pay back that due rent, there wouldn't be penalties or late fees assessed on that rent.
Yes. Did everybody catch
So
that?
it'll also waive all penalties then, right? That's
Late fees and penalties?
Yes, so
but
it would be late fees and penalties, and depending on a tenant's contract, sometimes it's expressed in a percentage basis, sometimes it's expressed as a flat dollar amount, and so it would prohibit any of those penalties or late fees. It would be as if you were making your payment timely, even though it would potentially be made after the moratorium period.
So if the landlord were to get some sort of creative with the finances, trying to add a percentile to it, it'll also cover that as well, right?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Do you guys agree on adding or amending the resolution to add this verbiage?
Yes.
So I guess at this point, I'll make a motion to add, to amend. Rick, would the motion be to amend and add the language?
Rick,
Yes.
would the motion be to amend the language?
I'm having a hard time hearing.
Oh, let me mute it. Maybe it's not done.
Rick, the question was, would the motion be to amend, or can I do just one motion, adding the extra language and proposing that we pass this resolution?
what I would recommend is you move to approve the item before you, the urgency ordinance before you with the changes that were made by the vice mayor. We can do it in one motion.
Move to approve, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move to approve the ordinance with the changes made, including the language for late fees and penalties, the prohibition of late fees and penalties. May I have a second?
I'll second.
And then we'll take this to a roll call, City Clerk?
Councilmember Aceituno,
Yes.
Barcena,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores,
Yes.
and Mayor Cortez.
Yes. Okay,
And Mayor, before we go on, I just want to make sure that the city clerk understands what the amendment was to this ordinance. Madam City Clerk, are you clear on the amendment that was made? I just want to make sure you note that.
Yes, I did,
Okay, thank you.
Rick.
perfect, okay. So this ordinance was passed with 4 out of 4 votes. And now, we're gonna go ahead and move on to city council member comments, and we'll begin with Councilmember Aceituno. Councilmember Aceituno, do you have any comments? If you could unmute your mic and just let us know, yes, no.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I just want to make sure that everyone stays safe, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Barcena.
I wanna wish everyone a safe environment with their family at home. I hope everyone's doing everything they can to keep their loved ones safe. I also have a few comments in regards to the meeting. I think that we might want to look into calling individually, even when you're at the council chambers, because I hear a lot of reverberation and it's a little bit hard to hear sometimes. So just wanted to give you that constructive feedback. Maybe we can plan a little bit better on the meetings, just for everyone to be able to hear what the participants are saying. But yes, everyone, please take care of yourselves, take care of your family. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
They are gonna air this, council meeting, right, online?
The audio is being streamed online.
It's actually being web streamed live right now as well, with video as well. The
Oh, with
video
the
that's
video?
showing here, yes,
Oh, but the video of the council chamber is not of the screen.
not the screen.
It's the Zoom, right?
Not the Zoom, just the, what's happening here in council chambers is being live streamed. So the audio of this conversation is being live streamed.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I just want to go ahead and thank, everybody that's there. I know, Chief, you guys have, your people up in the front lines, putting your lives at risk and still dealing with a lot of people who are having a hard time staying home, right, for lack of words. And, Mike, I know it's been really difficult to manage everything. I know a lot of our employees, sorry, I have my kids here, who have been testing positive, and we're doing the best that we can and still making sure that we're following every single safety measure. So thank you so much, Mike, and to the Community Development Department, our Public Works Department, to our Parks and Rec Department, who's helping our seniors every single day. I want everybody to know that if you're listening, that although you don't see the city hall open, every department is working really hard, and we're seeing a lot. Being there for everyone, and we are taking calls and we are speaking to residents no matter what. During this pandemic, I think everybody feels the anxiety really high, and we do too. I mean, I just had a baby. I don't want this going on right now, but we're doing the best that we can, and I want the community to trust that you can trust us to make the best decisions for you guys. I know that people have a lot of comments about what's going to happen at the Quality Inn, but we will deal with that in the future. So just know that we are doing the best that we can, and we're not going to do anything to put our community's safety in danger. So with that said, I hope everybody stays safe and continues to wash your hands, and everybody's having a good time at home with their families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. As far as my comments, I want to start off by thanking our staff For the past, it's almost gonna be a month since we started with this madness, and everybody has been here, working very hard. Mike, I know you've been working long hours. Chief, you've been working long hours. Your respective members below each one of you have been working long hours. Every time everyone leaves their home, they're exposing their families by being here. I'm exposing my family by being here, and that's something very important to mention. Because out there, we're losing our humanity. We're losing our compassion for one another, and we don't remember that the individuals in this city hall are also human. With Easter Sunday approaching, it is important to remember, for those of us that are religious, that we were taught compassion, that we were taught that one human is not stronger than another, that one human is not above another. And I know there's a lot of ill sentiments out there, and there's a lot of paranoia, hysteria, fear going on, but we are also afraid because this impacts us equally. We're not superhumans here. We are exposed to this virus as much as everyone else. And our staff is out there working, our public works, our parks and recs, our police department. Chief, thank you for mobilizing your troops and having someone out at the Quality Inn yesterday, all night, watching over us, because that brings greater security to our community. And I know that themselves, it's going through their head that at that moment, they might be possibly exposing their families. Every call that they respond to, they're exposing their families, and we need to remember that. As a city, we need to show more compassion for one another and more compassion for our employees, because they're working very hard to keep this city afloat. Directors, please let, and I'll be sending out a message, but please let your workers know that we truly appreciate this, and we appreciate them coming in every single day to keep Bell Gardens going. And I know it's not easy. I know this quarantine is not easy. It's driving everybody crazy, but it's something that we need to do together to do our part and to help flatten the curve. And with that said, just appreciation for my colleagues as well, for my council, and everyone in general, just for being here, tuning into these Zoom meetings, calling in with your questions and concerns. I appreciate it. Staff appreciates it, and we just all need to do our part. We need to do our part in this pandemic and come together and unite and do what's best for our city, even though sometimes they're not going to think that that's what's best for them. Because right now everyone has 1,000 ideas as to how to do this job, but this job is extremely difficult. And being here is extremely difficult, and we all know that. And just even, be compassionate towards our county leaders and our state leaders, because they're also trying to do their best. And we know that. But more information will be coming for all of you out there. In regards to your questions and concerns, we're reading everything, we're taking everything to heart, and we're doing the best that we can. Mobilizing, staff was here yesterday, Mike was here yesterday till almost 10 p.m. just trying to deal with this and trying to put out information. And things are not flowing smoothly, but that's something that's out of our control, and we're just doing the best that we can. But thank you so much, everybody, for your efforts. And with that, I would like to conclude this meeting. Just be kind to one another. Let's remember our humanity and our compassion. We're all here, and we are in it together, and we need to help each other. But with that said, have a great day. And I'll recess this meeting at 1:07.
Bye, everybody.